G'day and welcome to the MacPack podcast.
We're back.
My name's Jamie Kenner, and to my left this weekend, or the biggest comedian we have here on the panel, it's my little brother Joe. How are you, Joe boy?
Jake, I'm going great, and I won't be holding that title for long because we got some amazing comedians joining us on the panel very soon.
And to my right, coming in at 6'1", as he does each and every week, is the baby brother of the pack. Who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
We like to think we're funny on the show, but boys, we got put in our place today here at the WA Comedy Week.
Well, you're not wrong there. We're down here at the Rechabite on the rooftop.
The sun's setting.
For the WA Comedy Week, we got the opportunity to speak to some absolute legends,
Hell yes.
including Zeppo, Raymond, Mick, Gledhill, Tim, Kershaw, and a range of other absolute legends.
Kings and
We're all
queens.
partaking downstairs as we speak for the festival and throughout Perth in the next few months. It's a massive ep, so let's get into it. Boys,
Brother Mingo.
how are we all well?
Oh, it's great to be here, boys.
This is fantastic. This is a little bit of behind the foreskin type stuff.
This is our
Yes.
third outside podcast. The first being obviously at our house, second obviously being at Seasons, and third here at the Rechabite Rooftop in
I
the middle of the
know.
CBD. Then we got the Bankwest, the fucking Rio Tech. Like, mate, there's buildings everywhere.
we're
It's so
actually-
sick to be up here. We're a part of the skyline. How does it feel,
It's actually
gentlemen?
fantastic to actually look up. I
People are
haven't
going to be
really
driving
looked up.
past, seeing all these lights set up and being
We're
like,
one of them.
what's happening out there?
And it's just three virgins sitting on stilts. Just absolutely hanging out.
Like, I know.
Boys, we're obviously fortunate enough to be invited down here to the Rechabite. We're to perch up here on the rooftop and chat to some of Perth's WA's best comedians.
Hell yeah. Australia's best comedians, mate.
some
Don't
are-
undersell
They
us.
just happen to be from WA.
Yeah, that's right.
Some are absolutely dominating.
Yes.
Some are just joining us. There are a couple of freshies
Fuck yes.
who are absolutely killing it themselves, even though they've only been in the game for such a small window of time.
Yes.
And we're fortunate enough to be up here having a chat to them before they do their set downstairs and before they commence the week that is WA Comedy Week.
And if you're thinking, like, this is a bit of a weird MacPack episode, I don't know if I'm going to tune into this one. Well, if you like having a giggle, more giggles are ensued when you have, 7 comedians come on your fucking
100%.
show in an hour.
100%.
Must be nice. Must be very nice.
We got to perch up with them live, chat to them about how they got into the industry, some of the best bombs they've had, some of the best jokes they tell,
Yes.
and exactly what you should expect if you want to come and see people either at the WA Comedy Festival, at Fringe, or just any of these individuals' stand-up bits that they do
And am I correct in
on the
saying
regular.
this is the first WA Comedy Week?
This is,
I believe
so.
it is, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be huge.
A week full of laughs. What can go wrong?
Should we rip in?
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Let's rip in.
do it.
Alrighty, boys, super excited to be up here at the Rechabite Rooftop here for WA Comedy Week.
Yes, the
Wh-
sun's setting.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's
What
a beautiful evening.
beautiful setting we've got here. We're also very fortunate to be joined by both Tim and Kate, who are going to be the comedians who are involved in WA Comedy Week this week. Guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
We're fantastic. How does it feel? You excited, nervous? You got a show tonight.
Yeah.
What are the vibes pre-show? Do you guys still get nervous?
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah,
we've
definitely.
Oh my God.
Definitely still get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's the pre-game?
Ooh.
Usually a podcast.
Yeah.
never
No,
to
I know. This is
This
the
is
first
good.
time.
This is a good warm up.
Yeah.
To be honest, I carry a book around. It's over there.
Mhm.
I do a little
Ooh.
note checking.
Oh, cool.
I don't know why. I've been doing it like 6 years.
Like of your
but,
bits.
Yeah, bits,
Okay.
topics, like what I want to do.
Mhm.
I have a plan and then I throw it away every time. That's why I'm still nervous.
Yeah. Every time I have a book, if I bring it on stage, try new stuff, I don't look at it. I just sort of go, I'm holding a book. No, but I go over it in my head. So I might walk around my apartment or in my car and I'll say the set out loud because I write stuff down, but it sort of sometimes turns into like a conspiracy theory paper.
Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
right.
I
Yeah,
like
it's just like arrows and next page. So I just prefer to just talk it out, and then and I got a theatre degree, so sometimes I'll do like warm ups.
You just
I'll
throw
be
your
like,
arms
Oh,
in the
yeah.
air.
Yeah, I
Please.
just throw it out, and I'm just like, I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker's son.
Wow.
You know, just to get my mouth ready.
Wow.
That was a good segue earlier. You mentioned conspiracy theories, and I know Tim, you do a lot of stuff
Yes.
about that.
Tinfoil hat.
I was wondering, so we don't really do too much conspiracy stuff here on the podcast.
I don't think we ever have.
I was
Really?
wondering.
But you guys look like 3 hardcore conspiracy
Yes.
theorists. It's very surprising to me.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had one. So obviously, if you get into that world, some are pretty crazy. But I wondered, what was the craziest one that you think actually potentially could be true?
Here we go.
Wow. Well, I do a whole 10 minutes on the moon landing.
Yeah, okay, right.
So, and that's got to be one of the craziest because like it was so out there, you know. They just like, well, depends if you thought that they did fake it or not. But I don't actually have an opinion at the end of my jokes, you know. Like, but I do like to argue both sides.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's the craziest one, right? Faking a moon landing.
Because I do remember reading about it. The big one that gets me that I can't explain is the flag waves. Is that right?
There's flag waves.
Joe's a scientist. Why does the flag
Joe's
wave?
just
Joe?
I believe it was because of solar winds.
Solar winds. See, now we've got questions. I'm like, no way.
So do you have a stance on it? If you were to lean one
Yeah,
way or the other?
Off the record, but on our record.
Like, I mean, I've got to be on the record by now. I don't think it happened. I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, really?
No.
It definitely, I think it definitely happened. Maybe they lied, maybe, but I think
Maybe.
no, but I think like maybe to beat the Russians because like I would but I think it definitely happened. If
This
like,
is the nuance of it. I think they
Yeah.
went to space, but maybe at that time they didn't land. Because, like, this isn't in the show, but, you know,
This is
the
the inside
first
scoop.
time that you did it, you wanted to film it and then beam it back live to
Well,
everybody in the world, and there was no
but
failure.
it was a dick measuring contest. No, they knew failure. The president had a speech for when it went bad, and we know
And
that
I'm pretty
people are
sure
happy
they
to do it
recorded
live.
the rest of it, and then if it went
But
bad,
it was the same when they had like the 80s, that space one where everyone was watching it live and then just watched it blow up, and all these kids at school just had to go, my English teacher died. Like that happened on live television. Part of me goes, I think America would rather shit on the Russians, do it quickly, and then spend all this money while like people are homeless. Like that feels like
That's the accuracy coming into it.
just going like, let's go to the moon. What about the homeless? Fuck them. Like,
There's none on the moon.
Yeah, there's no homeless on the moon. Yeah.
See, at least it's a conversation starter, It's like a nice place to start from.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you can work from there anyway.
Have you ever got like mad heckled? Because I know some
Yes.
people get really aggressive.
That's just yes, straight away.
I know some people get really aggressive when I bring up the whole space landing thing.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever been like, dude, shut up?
Or like the entire crowd goes silent because they think I'm
Mum,
100%
stop.
serious.
No
Like
giggles.
comedy's about being serious, not flip-flopping and whatever. It's not about what you actually think.
Yeah.
Especially if they're
So,
going
yeah.
to a comedy show and it's like Tim Foyle, and then they're really surprised. They're like, "Wow, I'm really
This
thrown
guy's
by his
fucking
views."
nuts.
No, those,
Yeah.
those people, like when it gets to festival season, those 10 people per day are totally into it. It's the other 60 that don't come.
That's your demographic. Just go on.
Yeah.
And yeah, so how do you find doing more like festival type shows or ones where, it's a bit more your sort of like your actual crowd?
I'm still trying to find a crowd. Be my crowd. No, I think it's good because I learned to do more at festivals. There's more opportunities to just like do 5 minutes and give it a go, but also try weird stuff. Like I guess in some venues, people are coming in and they want to watch something. Well, at least say for festivals, you can go, I want to try something a little bit different. And people are more accepting of that, and you can like give a go. I don't know.
I like the idea that you can theme a show. That's what I love about it. So like I'll have a conspiracy show. I have a chef show because I was a chef for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And that's all hospitality stuff, and that's a different crowd that you can talk about different stuff. And then I have like a flannel panel show with like friends that I've done comedy with regionally for years.
Amazing.
And that's a different show again. So
Yeah, that's
I like
sick.
theming it,
Well, that's the thing, because for Fringe shows, like we've got funny stories to tell in the closet, and that's literally we wanted to cater to something like that because we were like that'll bring in a particular audience compared to necessarily like an open mic night or just a general night.
And
where
you get
might
to go
find
down that
people.
avenue more. Like we see each other do comedy a lot. Sometimes the crowd will be like, oh, I'm not into this.
and you'll be like, this person's really funny. You're not into it. Yeah,
but you can talk about the same topic for a longer time, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, you've only got 5 minutes to like win the crowd over, and sometimes it just like it. Yeah, they'll be like, I'll say some queer stuff, and it'll just go
Like literally.
literally, and they'll just go. "Oh." So you don't have that time.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
There you go.
All right.
How was were you a chef, did you mention?
Yeah.
Where at? What were you doing?
I'm from Melbourne.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, I went around the world chefing.
Sick.
15 years.
And why'd you throw your hat in?
Because it's a terrible job. Like it's really bad. Like now that I do comedy and I can like sleep in and stuff, it's like I can't believe I did it for so long. And fine dining as well. Not like that's what the show's about. Like Gordon Ramsay-esque.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So you built your way all the way up and then still went, fuck this.
I worked for all the big guys in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah, I worked for George when he started MasterChef, and they used to bring everyone into the kitchens and the camera crews and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. And you were just cooking and going, I hate
Yeah,
this.
while he was smiling, I was doing all of his work.
Yeah, I bet he was.
Is that the one you weren't getting paid for it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
in the show, bro. Come down. Totally.
That's huge.
And so both of you, what made you start to get into comedy and actually pursue it as like a career?
During a lockdown 2019, I thought I should maybe feel like I've done something. So I just did a comedy writing course, and then they said do stand up, and I did it. And at the end they had 5 minutes, and I did it, and people laughed. And then someone said, do you want to do that 5 minutes here? And I went, and then someone watched me and went, do you want to do those 5 minutes? And then I just sort of started doing it, and I really liked it. And it sort of snowballed from there through like COVID, and because no interstaters could come in, it meant that who else were they going to ask? So I just had to I could work on my stuff more. So I'm still like a baby comic, I think. What about you?
One of my friends stole one of my jokes, like party jokes, when you're just with the boys or whatever. And he did it on stage, and it got a really good round of applause.
What was the joke?
Oh, it was actually a very hack joke, a koala having chlamydia's joke.
Yeah, classic.
And now I see it everywhere. And then it went well, so they just put something in my brain.
It's like, I could do that.
And then I thought, well, yeah, I'll try.
Wow. And that was it.
And then it took a little while. It was like a challenge for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I realized, this is really for me. Grabbing an idea and then immediately that night trying to plug it into people's brains and get them on board is like a really addictive thing after a while.
You're by yourself as well, because I've started in improv and in theatre, and it's very much about you're with other people, you're bouncing off other people, or you're playing a character.
Yeah.
You're playing a character, I guess, on doing stand-up, but it's such a different thing to have your idea, stand on stage and throw it to people, and it's just you. So it's really it's a very powerful and fun thing
and
to
other
do.
art forms, you got to paint a picture for 5 days, or you got to write a song, takes a while.
Yep.
Comedy can just happen right then.
It's very instant.
Bam.
And you get immediate feedback as well.
Oh,
It's-
yeah, you know if it's shit. Yeah. They'll tell you.
And even that becomes addictive a little bit, that
risk.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the risk of the adrenaline. So coming from chefing, I needed an adrenaline hit as well,
Yep.
and a risk. So that is a big part of it.
That's fantastic.
How do you know if your stuff's shit? Or how do you know,
silence that you hear.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
before you perform, when you're writing it, you're like, this is gold, and then sometimes you do it and you're like, oh,
Yeah, do you
that
know
was
during
silver.
the writing process, or is it very much throw at the wall and
No,
say?
because if it makes you laugh, you go, oh,
That's
that's.
good.
I mean, sometimes you might go, oh, that's crap. But I think if you think it's funny, I think that's the worst when you're like, that's great, and you give it to an audience and they're like, I don't get it. And maybe sometimes you need to be in an avenue where people will, you can say it and they will, or maybe the idea is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And that's where the work happens. One night, it works amazing, and then the next night it's terrible, and then you're in a conundrum.
Yeah.
You're like, what do I do about that?
Yeah, okay.
I did a set where it was in front of a couple 100 or so people, and then I went to a group of 20, same set, and it completely bombed, and that was my first time because I'm so new, and I went, oh, okay, and I learned from that. But it's something that you
have to learn by the
Because if you do it,
experience.
if you do it to the crowd where it bombs first, you might
Just
never try
shelve
it
it.
again.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And when you say completely bombed,
yeah.
does that mean 0 laugh, or does that mean a few giggles but not enough to satisfy you?
No, the giggles. A few giggles is okay because they might get it, but it's the pity giggles, or it's
Yeah, sometimes you feel that the air gets sucked out of the room.
How does it feel?
If the first couple of times it's horrendous.
Yeah.
it
Like,
could
does it
be
make
real.
Did you ever have that nightmare where you're back at school and you realize that there was an exam and you didn't prepare for it, or you're naked, or everyone's going, why don't you know? You should know. And you're like, I don't. And everyone's staring at you, and then you wake up and you're like, thank God.
Nightmare. It did happen last week.
Well, there we go. Okay, then you'll get it. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think
There
it's
you
to
go.
do with the fact that you're getting on stage and you're putting your hand up and saying, hey, I am funny.
Yeah.
And then now this is funny is totally
Yeah.
different to hanging out at a
Yeah,
party and
true.
just
Yeah,
being
right.
like, woof.
Yeah, when you have a mate that they go, oh, all my friends think I'm funny, and they hop on stage, and your heart goes to them, because then the rest of the crowd's like, we don't know you, we don't know, why, and
Yeah. But if you are having fun, that tends to win it over.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
look like you're having a good time.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
On the inside, you're dying.
Well, hopefully there's no bombs this week. Where can people see you both this week for WA Comedy Week, and then in the future, where can people in Perth
Oh.
see you?
You got to plug Fringe shows. Tim Foyle hat at Fringe.
Yep.
I have a showcase, the flannel panel,
Cool.
and I have that hospitality show called the Hospitality Show.
The big
Fantastic.
three.
Fantastic. I accidentally am in a lot of stuff for WA Comedy Week. So I mean, I've got the showcase tonight. I'm in the Pride Gala on Thursday. I don't know.
I'm
looking
not
at
in it.
you.
I'm totally not in it.
On Friday,
Oh,
Thursday,
cool.
I'm down the Fremantle Comedy Factory. I'm on Todd Talks and Improv D&D
Huge.
on Sunday. But for Fringe, I'm also doing funny stories to tell in the closet with Aves Robbins, and we're doing a two-hander sort of stand-up night in Fringe. So
Cool.
you don't have to be part of the queer family to enjoy it. So
Of course not. Yeah, we saw you
yeah.
do a 5 at Oasis. And
Yeah.
some of your bits were clear.
Yeah.
I was fucking dying. Like, shit's
Yeah, so good. Yeah.
That's
Very
good.
funny.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
fuck
Yeah. I want. Yeah. Doesn't. Yeah. You don't have to like.
Here we
sign
go.
up to get into it. I don't know.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So.
No, it's
yeah.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the MacPack podcast live from the Rechabite.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for
Cheers.
having us.
Cheers, guys. Alrighty, boys, we're back here at the Rechabite on the rooftop for WA Comedy Week. The sun's actually starting to set. It's either the sun's setting or you've turned more lights on.
Bit of both.
It feels like it got brighter, even though it got later. We're drinking some beautiful Feral Brewing brews.
Oh, yeah.
This is a brand new one. This is the Extra Pale Ale, and we are fortunate enough to be joined by Miko and Taylor, who are part of this week's WA
Yes.
Comedy Week.
Thanks
Couple
for
of-
having us.
Couple of absolute
you.
legend comedians. Guys, how's things?
Oh, so good. We're really relaxed.
Yeah?
And, yep.
Rising stars, man, we're
Yep.
stoked.
Positive vibes. Yeah.
55, I'm a rising star.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So
Nothing's
we're.
rising at 55. That's the only one, that's the only one I'll take.
That's
man.
very sad. Yeah. No, we're really good. Everything's fine. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. We're good, thank you. We're
Fantastic.
good, thank you. We have a little bit less on the line tonight than you. though.
Yeah.
This is our big moment.
This
This is it. You're living
well,
it.
You're doing all right.
We only bomb to you if we bomb.
Yeah, if we bomb, we just will delete the audio.
You got a 3-way backup bomb.
Yeah, exactly. So what are the plans for this week? What sort of shows have you got? What can people expect from your shows?
Well, tonight we're going to be with another group of people who are up and rising people, and we got Peter Roasthorne who's
Yeah.
emceeing.
Yep.
Pete.
I'll be happy to just carry the drinks with him emceeing. He's a great dude. I've done a couple of gigs with him. But overall, everyone's kind of prepping for Fringe.
Yeah, right.
That seems to be the vibe.
Yeah, but this initiative is probably the best initiative I've seen so far because it's more like about the comedians locally.
Yep.
Whereas the others are kind of like more of a franchise.
Yep.
Yep.
Fly me.
But yeah, I'm really stoked about this initiative. It's great. Yeah, I'm all over it, like a grog vomit on a trico roll. You know?
Bit of a generational
always
gap
says
there.
stuff. Yeah, this is my only show of the week.
Okay.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you said, everything's on the line. Everything's fine. And I've never performed in that room
Yep.
before. So that's again, I'm fine. But yeah, it is really great because just a whole week, and I get to go to all the other events as
Yep.
well. So
Yeah,
it's like
nice.
the Q&A last night. He was really good. And yeah, I'm actually really surprised I'm on this lineup. Let's be real with that.
Have you done much stand-up previously?
Yeah, I've done a little bit for like the last few years, but
Cool.
I just feel really lucky to be here.
Yeah, cool.
So grateful.
What's your kind of niche? What do you go toward?
Niche.
Oh, well, you're killing that animation at Scarborough. Like you
He
just
really
slayed
likes
it.
this one bit I did about country music at the gym.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Does it relate? Are you a country music at the gym
I'm
sort
from
of
the
operator?
country. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Never been to a gym, but
So country music.
I
during
can
war.
relate to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I felt tired at the end of it,
Yeah.
other than entertained as well.
Yeah. I'm just really, really excited to be here tonight. So yeah.
Fantastic. What is the setup for tonight? How long are we going?
5.
Everyone's on tight fives.
Yeah, it is only 5. I was going to do like 12 punchlines because I normally do about 12 slammers. But I think I'm going to talk about how my mum gave me the sex talk while she castrated a horse.
I'm so glad I picked this duo.
Yeah, and then my dog ate the testicles. And man,
Wow.
I feel full now. I don't need dinner.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
are so similar, you and I.
No,
We
I got plenty of others. Yeah, it's a true story. It was a true story.
never
Mum
lied.
grabbed
Probably
a
harder
handful
to
of the
make it up.
horse's Jats crackers and just lopped it off in one hit. Horse was lying down at the time like he was having a little bit of a nap. Didn't even give it a little bit of a kick, nothing. He just worked through it. And then she said, you got to treat people with respect, Mick, otherwise this is going to happen to you.
Oh, so it was a life lesson.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
that's all right.
then the dog swallowed the balls like they were a couple of Tic Tacs.
Wow.
And if that didn't convince me, that certainly did. But my mum, she's a farmer's wife, and she's tougher than Hessian undies. But she's a top bird. Yeah.
That's his whole set.
Like Taylor.
It'll do well. It'll do well.
I think that's why we get along, because she's like my mum.
I'm uncomfortable dogs.
Oh my goodness, that's
Bravo.
elite.
A master.
How
at
did you
work.
guys get into comedy? We asked the other two how they got into comedy, and they had some very different pathways. And I imagine you two, just based on the small chat we've had, you've probably got very different pathways as well.
I hope we really do. I always wanted to do it. I was someone who had no self-confidence for most of my life. But we had where I used to work, they decided to do like a stand-up comedy night, which
Okay.
is the
And
most
where did you used to work?
I
what
worked
was
for
the
a health
crew?
insurance fund.
Yeah, okay.
Shout out to HBF.
Nope, that one. Smaller. No, but it was really good, and I was surprised because it's such a weird thing to do. But the CEO was really into stand-up. So he
Okay.
wanted
Yeah,
to do
right.
it. And I was one of 2 girls that got up, and there were 10 guys around that amount, and I ended up going up. It was the best though. I didn't realize about time limits or anything, and I did like 20 minutes apparently.
Yeah, right.
About my first period.
Nice.
And like people were in tears, and I had the best time. And I finally was like, yeah, I really enjoy doing this. And then I did the course, Matt Storer's course that he does. And then from then on, I just kept trying and realizing that you can't do 20 minutes. So 5 minutes is actually really hard, and I really respect that.
yeah, right.
So-
Did you
Yeah.
condense the story or go with the brand new bit?
I haven't really condensed it yet. I've tried to use bits of it, but it's just it just deserves so much more
Yeah.
time. Because I'm a storyteller, so
Yep.
I struggle to
My favourite.
do 5 minutes. So that's why I'm still beginning.
Hard to tell a good 5-minute story.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
So
we
I
go.
thought I would fit in the. You like the horse story? Bring the pony up. I've gone off track here. So I thought I would fit in the comedy scene because I'm emotionally bankrupt.
That's a prerequisite, isn't it, these days?
I went to the Brisbane hotel with my cousin and her husband.
Yep.
Show around the town. I said, let's go to a comedy night. It'll be sick, right? Everybody sucked. The whole lineup. I said, these people suck.
Drop some names.
Some of them are my friends. One of them gave
a
up
roast
the
on.
MC, right?
Any here
Cousin's like,
tonight?
if you can do a better job, why don't you get out there and do it? And I'm like, fucking oath. So 6 weeks later, I went up and did a gig at the Brisbane, and it kind of went better than I expected. But I talked about dogs rather than the military. I didn't talk about the military until a year after, because it's too confronting. Like,
Yeah.
I can't articulate it any nicer than what it is. Like one time, this is no joke, I was having a poo in the middle of nowhere, right, in the jungle in Bougainville Island. This pig comes out of the jungle out of nowhere and just drives his head under my bum. Like, I've just finished the poo. I put not even halfway pants out my legs. This pig's not just gone, shit's gone, right? I've got my pants up, and then my boss walks in, and he sees this pig walking off, and I'm pulling my pants up. There's no shit there, right? He goes, what's going on here? Did you have sex? Were you intimate with that pig? Like, you fucking wish. I said, no, gentleman does not kiss and tell. That's a true story. I won't say that.
Oh, that's
And that's how we got into
Yes, that was
comedy.
a dare. So after all that, my cousin dared me, and then it went crazy from there.
Okay, right. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you were in the army prior to that.
So I served in the Australian Army and the Royal Australian Air Force.
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
Appreciate it.
And then I went back home. I went Army, Air Force, Army, and all up about 30 years. And I was on the over-the-horizon radar for my last 12 years, the early warning system.
Yep.
So my background is communications, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And it's just a HF radar that detects aircraft and shipping. When the boat's coming down.
Yeah,
The
okay.
Liberal government was in, you did all that.
Yeah, cool.
But comedy's way better.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I mean, when you bomb, that's fine to bomb. When you kill, that's fine to kill, all right? In the military, not so.
Fantastic. So
There
where
you
can
go.
people see you post WA Comedy Week? Where's the best place for people to go? Just check out
I'm
your
actually going
stuff.
to be in Townsville on the 8th of December.
Yep.
I'm going to be doing the Mandurah Comedy Show on the 2nd of December.
Huge.
and I think I've got some mine site gigs in between.
Oh,
so
cool.
Oh, nice.
we're just going to do this, mine sites, and then Townsville and Mandurah.
Yeah,
And then
fantastic.
Christmas, yeah.
Sounds like you found your demographic amongst those locations as well, just quietly.
Are you calling me a bogan? Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. You're true. It is. It's like when you go to America, you have to rewrite all your stuff so they're on board with it, right?
Yeah.
So I connect with bogans, miners, military people,
And Mandurians.
old people who hate everybody. Yeah, anybody. Like it is. You kind of have to create your own path in comedy once you get your feet, right?
Yep.
Once you get like 45 minutes, hour of material, that's good. Off you go on your own.
Yeah,
Get away from the open mic rooms. Go to America. It's a land of opportunity. People will love you. Australian comedians are the flavour of the month over there.
Did you go to America?
Yeah, I just got back from the Burbank Comedy Festival.
Oh, cool.
It was sick as. My head just exploded every day. Met heaps of people. It was the coolest thing I ever did. Like 200 of the best comedians in America. Jay White, myself, and Sean Conway got selected for that as well.
Yeah, cool.
And we went, man, we're going to go over there. So we went over there. Best time, awesome people. Yeah,
Unreal.
Fuck
gotta
yeah.
go there.
What about yourself, Taylor?
What's the question again?
Something about a pig or something? No, where can people find you? Where can people go and check out your stuff?
Yeah, so to TBA, got nothing at this point in the future. I'm like I just kind of jump on things
Yep.
when I get
Cool.
the opportunity. So yeah, just I guess I'll post it on my Instagram, which has
Plug it.
yeah.
Plug it.
I've got like 300 followers, so I'm not gonna.
Let's go.
Yeah.
301 after this.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, only one
There's
of us are
three
going
of
to
you.
follow you.
There's three of us sitting here.
That's fine. I remembered all your names. But
No, they're not good with math, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the MacPack podcast from the Rechabite Rooftop for WA Comedy Week.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You
Cheers,
guys
guys.
are heaps of fun.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Killed it.
Alrighty, boys. The sun is definitely setting now, and the lovely lights.
Hopefully
that
you won't be able to tell from my
The lovely
Yeah.
lights. that you've set
great
up
gaffing there.
look absolutely
You know,
fantastic.
when I was sitting over there, I
Mm.
was like, "Oh wow, it's the golden hour. Everyone's lit so nicely." And then I noticed the giant.
The
sun is gone.
Four huge
Yeah,
lights that we have.
Wow, the
It's
sun's been
midnight
setting
right
for hours.
Boys, we're incredibly privileged to be joined by Alice and Zeppo, who are again two comedians who are taking part in WA Comedy Week down here at the Rechabite. How's things, guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be doing jokes and whatnot.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh yes.
How long have you guys been in comedy for?
A couple of years, but never particularly intensely. It's always just been a bit of a hobby for me. So
Yeah,
I
cool.
could
Yeah, cool.
do like maybe a spot or two a month. Whereas some people actually that make an effort, which is not me.
Doing 24 shows a year isn't an effort.
No, well, I said a
That's
couple.
almost a-
I said
that's
a
almost
couple.
a month of
I'm gonna say
shows.
one
At
show
most.
a month. Yeah, at
Okay.
most. That's a maximum.
What about you, Zeppo?
Still sick.
A few years. I started about 4 years ago.
So you're making an effort, is what I'm hearing. Is that?
Well, I tried to. For the first few years, I was trying to gig multiple times a week, and then took it really seriously. Started running my own shows,
Cool.
and then I kind of just got a bit lazy, and kind of like Alice just thought, yeah, when it's fun.
That's what put me off, to be honest. Zeppo.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What are your shows? What can people expect from your shows when they're up there?
I don't know how to describe
What's
my
your
jokes.
what's your
It's-
niche?
Uh,
You have a
it's just
theme?
my thoughts and feelings.
Classic.
I would say I try and do jokes that I feel like I would like to share some thoughts that I think people might have had.
Okay.
And then they think that thought was unique to them, and then you say it, and then everyone laughs guiltily because they're like, "Oh."
Yeah,
Oh
right. yeah.
yes.
I
remember
also do
this.
that when I'm on the toilet, and I thought I was the only one.
There you
That's
go.
fantastic.
See, Alice, that's so altruistic. My approach is I just talk about myself, and I hope that something in that is funny for someone else to hear.
That's me too. I do love talking about myself. So I
We
think
try.
that's, yeah.
What's your
That's the
favorite things
show.
about yourself? Other than
I like these shoes that I got today.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that before.
Wally.
They're very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Tangible objects.
I bought them from tangible material
Not your
goods.
personality, not your
Yeah.
not substance of your
Material goods
character.
that I can purchase. Yeah, I bought these today, so they're doing good.
They're flash.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
You got
done-
four
they're-
different
yeah.
five different colours on
They're,
the
they're
Dunlop
volleys, and they were $75, which I think is pretty good for a shoe.
Yeah,
That is
right.
good. Yeah. For a while there, volleys really had a stranglehold on the market,
Mm.
but not so much now. But we could
I
bring
feel
it
like
back.
in the 1950s they had a stranglehold, and they're back. They're back.
Coming back.
They're back, courtesy of Alice and her sponsorship with
Yeah,
Volley.
yeah.
Shout out to Shep Volley. What about yourself, Zeppo? What's your favourite feature about yourself?
God, you sound like my therapist. I I think, to be honest, it might be my name. I hated it as a kid, but I like it now.
Can
because
you spell it for me?
I'm not sure I can. No, I go by Zeppo, Zeppo.
Cool.
But that is actually short for Kerapetsi Kenneth Zeppo.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Is that a first name?
It is just my first name.
Oh.
And what I found out when I was 10 years old,
Jesus.
How many
is-
letters is that? Just
it's
quickly.
21, including a hyphen.
Jesus,
Holy
you would
shit.
have.
Good
You would,
password.
You've even got the special characters.
Yeah. That's why they waited till I was 10 to tell me my full name. But my parents, because they're African, I actually don't have the accent to pronounce my own name. So even what I said to you is not even close
Yeah,
to
right.
an actual thing. I can't do it. I'm
Shit.
just I got this white voice.
so were you
before you-
born here?
In Hobart, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sick.
Yeah, so I sound like this, but I look like this.
So before you settled on Zeppo, obviously you got a lot of letters to work with. Was there a few iterations before you landed on a combination you were happy with?
He actually he totook off a letter for each year that he was performing.
Yeah, we've narrowed it down.
So
to
next
the
year
top
is
6
Eppo.
letters.
Yeah, next year is going to be Zep.
Turns out there is also a historically famous comedian called Zeppo already. So I have a very unique name, except for the one thing I needed to be unique for.
Yeah, I think that did come up when I was doing my research, actually.
Yeah. Well, he's
Wow,
the
this
first
guy's
result.
really famous.
Yeah, from like the 30s as well.
Yeah,
Amazing.
the Marx brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
was
famous
also-
and dead, but he's going to be on our podcast.
Yeah.
He was also the least liked of the Marx
Yeah,
brothers.
because he's the only one I hadn't heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Even less like than Carl.
Yeah, he.
Wow.
Who are the Marx? Who are the
My
Marx
favourite
brothers?
There's
Your
like
parents would love them.
Groucho and Zeppo and another one.
The he was the fourth of the 3 Marx brothers. That's how much they didn't like him.
And what do they do? Are they comedians?
Yeah, sort of.
It's like
Really?
it's got,
What are
like
the chances?
visual comedy, like physical comedy and
Oh,
stuff like
cool.
that.
A bunch of Mr. Beans running around on stage. With
But I'm carving out my niche, trying to reclaim the Zeppo name
Yeah.
for myself.
yeah, cool.
You go.
Nice.
First step towards
So
it.
your metric is just be more famous than the Marx Brothers, and then
Effectively,
you'll have
yeah.
made it.
Well, basically, all their fans will die in about maybe like 10 minutes.
So
Yeah,
you
someone's
can
looking
sneak
pretty
There's just
good at Zeppo.
there's just that one you're waiting for.
yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him.
So I noticed that on your Instagram you've got your like web comics, art stuff that you put up, and I noticed that a lot of them sort of have a bit of political like message sort of to them.
I'm officially edgy now.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I guess I wanted to ask you about like using comedy through like other forms and stand up. Like, how do you approach it sort of differently, and also in like using those avenues to sort of promote like a message? Do you do that in your stand up, or is that something you stick to in your like art?
It's mostly the art, actually. I wish I could say that I was doing more comedy that mattered, for lack of a better phrase. But really, again, I just talk about myself, really. The comics, I love that you did your homework, by the way, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But the comics were written during lockdown.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I'm not that great an illustrator, and so it took me like half a day to make each one.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And comedy just has a better return on investment, like doing stand-up, rather.
yeah, laughs are better than
Yeah.
likes. Yeah.
Yeah, spending like 6 hours to make one comic that gets like 4 likes, it was not worth it.
It is something I enjoy about comedy is that I don't know about other people. Me personally, it's not much effort to create something that people can enjoy. It's not like you have to, like paint a painting or like
Yeah.
just go on stage, say words.
And you get to keep doing it too.
Yeah, and if it's bad, you just get off stage and
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
hopefully no one remembers.
That's not too dissimilar to what we do. We just sit here, we have microphones. If we don't like it, we just delete the shit, and then no one else ever has to hear
That's
about
what
it.
I do. I go in and delete the memory of me. People's minds.
Have you two ever bombed before? Is there ever? Do you have a bomb story?
Never.
Never.
Yeah, look, once or twice. I feel like it doesn't happen that much anymore.
Yep.
And I feel like part of that is I'm very lazy and I only go to rooms which I know the room runner does a good job curating the room. It's a good MC, so I know
Yep.
it's going to be a fun night.
Mm.
So even if I'm a bit shit, it'll kind of like, it'll be a nice night.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I have bombed once or twice. The thing I tell people is I was like, I've seen a lot of bad comedy over the years and I really don't remember any of it. So if you're so bad that people remember how bad you were like years later, then you've done it. You've achieved something.
It's almost impressive
It's
again.
almost
It swings
impressive.
back
You've
around.
come back around again. And I try and tell myself that, if you do it spot, it doesn't go well. It's kind of like, I don't think anyone's going to remember this. So you feel bad for like 5 minutes and then you got to get over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
fair enough. What about yourself, Zeppo?
Well, Alice is very
always
consistent.
bombing.
Joke, but it is true. I've had some of the best sets of my life on comedy stages, and I've had some of the worst nights of my life on comedy stages. But it's all in the name of fun, I think.
Yeah.
One that springs to mind was I took It wasn't a date as such, but I took someone I was interested in at the time to a show.
Stop inviting
And you-
dates to your comedy
I
shows.
should stop doing this.
Were
so
you
wait, to one that
performing?
you were performing.
I was performing.
And did they know
First
that
date,
this was
second
happening?
date?
They knew.
First,
well, it
second,
wasn't
third?
officially a date. I was keen. We were friends. It's a whole
Okay.
thing.
Right.
Different podcast.
Very smooth.
But basically, we went
Different
to the
therapy
show,
session.
and I had been booked to the show because I'd worked for the show.
Okay.
So I wasn't even
Yep.
at the level to be on the lineup, if not for the fact that I'd worked there.
Mm.
So already there are pro comedians, and then this guy turns up, and I did a set that was okay. It was a 6 out of 10 relative to me, but at the end of it, I thought I'd finish with a joke that she had told me to sort of impress her.
Yeah.
So I told her joke
Oh.
on stage, and it died so hard.
that's
Probably my worst one, actually.
Right.
Do you
Do
have
you
to
remember the
Do you
joke?
remember the joke?
I'm not going to tell it.
Alright, you can tell us off air.
You
Yeah.
have a listenership, and I think she might be part of it.
I feel like you've just invented a really advanced form of negging. It's
Yeah.
like a really long to bring someone's self-esteem down,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Your
by
joke sucks,
comparison,
but I like you.
I'm not that bad. That's like your
Did
joke.
you follow it up with, that wasn't my joke?
Yeah.
I forget
I
swear.
left. I literally finished it, and I got
Ran
off stage.
That would be
Yeah.
good because obviously I think I hear
That
that.
would be good.
No, I hear that. I hear that a
What
lot
a
of
masochist.
comedians, people, tell them, oh, you should do this on stage or whatever.
Mm.
You should do that. But okay, this is a joke that my mate told me. I'm gonna tell it and then just react, and then
I
I'll
did that.
let them know that it's bad.
How did that
I
go
did
for you,
that
Alice?
once. It actually went surprisingly well. It was my boyfriend had been trying to get me to do this joke for like a month or two, and
Was
I finally did it, and it went quite well. But I think I'm going to say it was all thanks
The
to my
delivery.
delivery, because someone came up to me afterwards and they're like, "Love that joke at the end." I didn't get it, but I still laughed. And I was like, all right then.
See, to throw it back at you, I think you should tell that joke because I think I know the joke you're talking
Okay,
about, and I like it too.
I'll
Okay,
tell
here
you
we
the
go.
joke,
Here
which
we
is 1950s sitcom dad comes home and he opens the door and there's all this group sex going on in his house and he slaps his forehead and he's like, orgies.
that is actually
good,
quite
yeah.
That is
Credit
quite
to
good.
my boyfriend. Good job, buddy. Not my joke.
And when can people see you? Obviously, you're doing the WA Comedy Week this
Yeah,
week.
they can see me tonight in 15 minutes.
But post this. Where can people see you? When can people see you throughout the rest of the year?
Jeez. I actually hate comedy. I hate performing. I don't want to do it. I only do it to leave. Like, I have a reason to leave the house, and when people are like, "Oh, what do you do for fun?" You can be like, "I do comedy," and they're like, "Oh, that's so interesting," and you're like, "Yeah, I know," but I don't actually enjoy it, so I try to do it as little as possible. But if you look me up on Facebook, I have a page called Alice Mack, and I will post when I'm doing shows.
Fantastic.
Very rarely.
Yeah, I don't do a heap of stand-up these days either, but you can find my comedy business. We have shows running every now and then at laughdepartment.com.
Cool.
Or
Did you
if
say
you're
a
in-
comedy business?
I used to run a few stand-up rooms around the city.
There you go.
Back in the day. If you're looking for me personally, you can go to tinder.com/Zeppo.
Look people up on Tinder
You
these
literally
days.
can. I just set it up.
If
yesterday.
anyone wants a ticket to one of Zeppo's shows, match him
Yeah.
on Tinder. And
Well, if anyone
invite you.
matches with
And he'll
Zeppo
tell
on
you jokes.
Tinder, he'll probably just tell your material up there. By the sounds of
Just in
things.
case you didn't get a clean cut of that, it is tinder.com/ZEPPO, ZEPPO.
Perfect. I'll add it.
Fantastic. Too good. Thank you so much, guys, for joining
Yeah,
us
thanks,
here
boys.
on the Rechabite Rooftop for the WA Comedy Week. Woo!
Thank you, boys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Alrighty, boys. Last but certainly not least, up here on the rooftop at the Rechabite for the WA Comedy Festival, we're joined by Jay Raymond. Jay, how are you, mate?
I'm very well. How are you guys going?
Good, thank
Fantastic.
you, mate.
Fantastic.
You've joined us at a fantastic time.
Yep, just after the sun sets, very romantic.
It is. Jay's not
Drink-
even part
drinking.
of WA Comedy Week. He's just a day.
I'm just up here drinking my Feral XPA, going, looking at the sunset with his lovely boys, thinking, where's this going to go? You know?
The night is young.
Three's definitely company.
So you're obviously performing for WA's Comedy Week.
I am. I'm one of the fresh faces. Don't let the grey hair fool you. I'm very fresh.
How long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing it for just over 4 years.
Okay, cool.
But 2 of those years were COVID, so I don't count them. So.
What'd you do
Yeah,
before?
right.
I was actually working in a fuel station doing the night shift.
Cool.
It was so fucking
Working on your bits.
Yeah, pretty much. I was
Yeah.
just standing there looking out the window for 6 hours and then waiting for the, crackheads to come by the meat pies. And I'd just write some bits, and after a while, I'm just like, fuck it, let's try this,
Making the crackheads laugh.
Yeah, that's it. No one can make a crackhead laugh.
Unreal. And you're from Mandurah, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
imagine there's quite a number of Crackheads.
Oh, yeah.
Peeling through.
They don't make jokes about it for no reason, mate. It's shocking. It's like the Night of the Living Dead out in that place. So.
Shout out to our Mandra fans. There's a fair few.
Our cameraman tonight is a Mandra man, so shout out to Dylan, my boy behind the cam.
He's obviously not on the meth, otherwise the camera ought to be down at Cashy's. You know?
Taken off with it by now. So what can people expect to see when they come and see you, Jay?
Oh, hilarity. You know?
Crack bits.
Crack bits. I don't have too many crack bits. The thing is because I'm from Mandurah, people expect the crack bits.
Oh, okay.
And I generally I have an opener with a crack, but so many times I have to get rid of it because someone else will just jump in and go, "Who's from Mandurah?" and start talking about crack. So you start stepping on my cracky toes, you know. So, yeah, not too much about crack. I just like I just like, you know, maybe a little bit before the show to like get my you know, get my enthusiasm up, but yeah, not too much. Mainly about stuff, you know, from my childhood, you know. All
Cool.
You know.
So did you grow up in Mandurah?
Yeah, I've been living in Mandurah. I actually moved to Mandurah the same night that the Simpsons premiered in Australia. So yeah, 750 years ago. A very long time. It was actually 1990.
Yeah,
very long time.
So none of us were even
close to being born.
Yeah, me neither. Fresh faces aren't born before the 90s. I like to compliment you on these microphones too. It looks like the fucking Wiggles.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Do you fight over the colours? It's like, I'm blue.
Yeah,
we actually did.
Really?
We were setting him up, and I put his one on the wrong stool, and he's like, "No, I just need to be the blue one. I think. I don't know why. I just do." He's got
feeling a bit blue. Oh, I've got the yellow one like Big Bird here, so it's pretty fitting. Yeah.
So how did you get into comedy? So obviously you were at the petrol stations.
Oh, well,
there was a fair bit of unleaded getting passed around. And
Yeah.
you know what?
Ultimately, I used to in my 20s. I used to be in bands, so
Okay,
I was
wow.
always attracted to the stage, and I like. Bands broke up, and I was sort of like in my mid-30s, sort of gone for a bit of a midlife crisis, you know.
It's early.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right, I'm either going to... I'm 35, my life sucks. I might kill myself or do comedy. You know, so I chose to die on stage rather than, you know, in the servo. But, honestly, it's like, it's been in the back of my mind. I've always been a stand-up comedy. But music always seemed like, I always wanted to be a rock star because of the cool factor. Yeah. And after all that went away and I got into my 30s, I didn't want to be cool anymore. I'm like, well... do the open mic thing. I can get back on stage and see where that goes. And here I am now.
Cool.
So, yeah.
What did you used to play in the band? Were you an instrument?
Well, actually, when I was in the band, funnily enough, I was in death metal bands.
Right.
And I used to do the like...
oh my goodness.
And I used to play the bass as well. But I was the guitarist, but everyone wants to be a guitarist. So I took one for the team and play the bass, you know. So I was in 3 bands playing bass, doing vocals in one. But, you know... death metal scene is a bit of a tough gig, you know. Especially if you want to start earning some money. This ain't going to happen. Or get any ladies that don't cut themselves, you know.
Whoa. You got to know your demographic. You got to know your demographic. So what do you do with yourself when you're not doing comedy now?
Oh, well, at the moment, I actually like... comedy is like my main job at the moment.
Cool.
That and trivia. I do host trivia nights.
Nice.
I'm not making a big killing, but I just started... you know, I rather have my time than make good money. So I'm at home, barely surviving, but you know, I'm surviving, so that's good. So at the moment, I'm just doing comedy, and I'm hoping to, you know, get the ball rolling and start making some decent money. I've just been doing the
shout out to all the comedians.
All
in
the
the
comedians.
industry.
But yeah, because I just did the Mick was talking about how he's doing the mining site gigs.
Yeah,
I've just been on that tour, and
cool.
so
Like
they actually pay you. So that's why I can consider myself a working comic at the moment.
There you go.
I'm doing that.
So you're working on mining, so like just like
you go around and do the
for the FIFO boys.
Yeah, you just go up to their site.
Yourself is FIFO.
Nah, you have to pass drug tests to be able to work out there. So, you know, I can only go out there as a visitor and then get off site.
And how do the Mandurah contract as well? You're not allowed to be it's in your bloodstream.
And how do those gigs compare to like something like this, like a comedy festival?
Oh, the mine gigs are actually the toughest gigs I've ever done.
Really?
You know,
Really?
Have you ever, like, you know, the whole woke thing, how you can't joke about this, can't joke about that?
Yep.
Mine sites are the worst by far because it's
corporate.
Because it's corporate and because I don't know, they've had issues with depression on the sites lately, so very funny up there about what you can joke about. You can't say the C word, which I love to say in my
Yeah.
jokes.
I
know.
reckon they'll
Our
get-
mum doesn't let us say it on the podcast either.
I reckon they'll get thrown around like the most.
Oh, the people who work there do, but it's
Of
just because
course.
the people who are running it are so on edge, you know,
Yeah.
about the,
Really?
the whole "Are you okay?" and just no one get offended. You can't joke about anything political too much, like
Yeah, right.
just in case there's one person there that gets offended. So it was actually quite surprising. I was expecting it to be like a rugby
Yeah, that's what I
gig,
would have
but
imagined.
complete opposite. It's like the most I've had to clean up my act ever, even like compared to places like Freo and
Yeah.
everything, you know.
So do you like, will they just sit down and be like, oh, these are the rules or stuff? Or do you tell them, like, this is what I'm going to say, and then they say, you can't say this?
Well, basically, they tell us some of the rules,
Yep.
but there's some companies, like some of the bigger ones, they literally wanted us to send us a script of our set. And
Wow.
doing stand-up, you can't really send a script because a lot of times you work off the
Yeah,
crowd
yeah.
and that. So we just basically told them to fuck off and keep looking at your rocks, you know. We'll take care of the jokes. Thank you very much. We keep blowing up the Indigenous artwork and, you know.
We'll just do the gags.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a bit of an eye opener, but you know, it's like blood. They call it blood money. Any of the corporate gigs, you sort of
Yeah.
know it's going to be tough, but you do it because it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best money you're going to
Yeah,
get
that's
doing
right.
comedy, probably.
Elite. What's the worst gig you've ever had? Just not from necessarily a limited amount of content.
Well, there was one gig I did. They told me not to say the C word, and I rolled up drunk. So of course I just instantly started saying it, and then I did a whole bit about.
Whereabouts was it? This was.
This was a place. No, this was a mine site. It was a Como in Canning.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're like the Como Hotel.
So we're doing a gig out there. No C words, so I started dropping the C bombs. And then I did like a joke. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was trying to piss the crowd off. But I did this whole big bit about how it's okay for Michael Jackson to diddle the kids because his music was so awesome. Right? So I went on this I thought it was funny, but afterwards, the whole event got cancelled forever. And I had people trying to fight me, like people were being held back.
Oh,
and
really?
people were like, go back to Mandurah and smoke some crack. And I had to sort of just leave because the people were fuming, and the promoter wouldn't talk to me for 2 years. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was probably the worst one. And that happened within 3 months of me starting, you know.
Oh.
So
Right.
yeah.
So you've cracked on, not literally, but you've pushed
The
on.
guy forgave me now finally, so
There you
know.
go. Fantastic. So where can people see you? Post this week at the WA Comedy Festival. Where can people see you?
I'll come. Well, so I've got tonight, obviously. This is my only show for the comedy week,
Yep.
but I'm going back on tour for the mine sites. And we also got a monthly. Mick was talking about the gig down in Mandurah
Yeah,
too.
yep.
It started 2 months ago. It's called the Mandurah Comedy Club at
Yeah.
the Brighton Hotel. First Friday of every month.
Cool.
So even if I'm not on stage, I'm always there, setting it up. But I'm generally get on for 5 minutes. But it's a great show if anyone can get down there. And also I'm working on my own show for Fringe Festival
Nice,
called
yeah.
First Model Millennial.
Fantastic.
So keep an eye out for that. And it's pretty much what I got going, and just anything I can get in between, you know.
Too good. Everyone here has mentioned Fringe. Fringe is huge.
Fringe is
when
huge.
is Fringe?
Starts at the end of January.
Okay,
Goes for
cool.
a month,
Cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Because we've been to a fair few Fringe festivals, but I reckon the last time we went, I don't know, it wasn't in summer. From memory, it was in April.
Oh, yeah,
anyway,
maybe that could have been. They've got the Perth Comedy Festival as well. Oh, we got the lights shut off.
We've lost power.
we've lost power.
We've lost power.
Brian has just kicked out the power cord.
Is that a sign? The sun's gone down. All the lights are out.
It's
We've got
awfully-
flashlights.
It's awfully dark down here.
Oh yeah.
There's a little bit of chaos.
Oh,
Oh,
there
we're
we
back
go.
on.
Let there be
We're
light.
back
Looking
on.
right at it. Oh,
There you go. We're getting a little bit of everything down here at the Rechabite. Oh,
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said Riley needs to taper it next time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us here.
thank you for having me, mate.
Ray. I hope you have a lovely set tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you down
Jay.
at the Mandurah. Oh, Jay. What did I call you, Ray?
You can call me Ray. People call me that too.
It's
Just
Jay Raymond.
Jay
right?
Raymond, Ray Jaymond,
And
whatever.
make sure you check
whatever
him out on
happens.
Instagram at Jay Raymond.
I think at J Raymond Comedy.
Yeah.
J Raymond Comedy.
It's fantastic.
Right,
You'll be
right.
able to find him. He's the one with the Everybody Loves Raymond little
Yeah.
display picture. It made me have a genuine chuckle. Thank you so much, Ray.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, King.
Alrighty, boys, that just about brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack podcast. Definitely a different episode to one that we've done previously.
Yes, it was different.
You're not wrong.
We normally do them at night. We don't normally do them on the rooftop in the city.
No.
And it's been absolutely sensational to chat with that many guests as well. I don't think we've ever had. I think we've just set a record for the number of guests, the number of
I think we've doubled.
laughs,
Yeah.
and the number of lights used down here
Yeah, I know.
at the Rechabite. We've currently got 4 absolutely beamers.
5
going on.
technically, yes.
It's been going off.
And final shout out to my boy. Dylan
And shout out
Cascade.
to
Shout out
to
Dylan.
behind the
Dill.
cameras.
Dill's been an absolute godsend
The best
coming down
dop
and
in
help
Perth.
us out.
Yes.
It's been killing it.
Yeah, so I think, we obviously gave everyone a plug before they finished. I think
We
just, we just say it again. These people will all have shows coming up.
Yes.
If they don't, they'll be announcing shows soon, maybe, or they'll be doing the spots around locally, and it's just great. Get out there, support local comedians.
Make sure you check them out. That's what these nights are for. Not necessarily this podcast, but the night. Everyone gets up, they do their 5 bits, and you can work out who's your vibe, who you like.
And then you can go see their full show.
It's like going to Baskin Robbins and having a little sample.
That's
right.
exactly.
Before you get your
100%.
months.
And
Ice cream.
we've gone and delivered you. We've done the Uber Eats aspect of that, and we've delivered the comedy to your door.
Yes.
We do encourage everyone and anybody and everybody to make sure that you check out a couple of these absolute legends, as well as Colin Ebsworth, who was on the podcast a little bit earlier 2 months ago.
Yes.
Yep.
Who, thank you so much, Colin, for setting this all up. This has been absolutely fantastic.
So cool.
And shout out to the other comedians, Frankie Rosethorn and Joe White, who were on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Hell yeah.
It's been absolutely fantastic. We've interviewed like 10 comedians over the last 2 months.
It's a good hit rate, mate.
That's not too bad.
Definitely a good hit. And
probably-
shout out to
Shout out to Ferrell.
supplying the beers tonight for everyone.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's
mate.
been good.
So good.
Gonna
Shout out
lean
Ferrell
into a
Bro.
few.
All right, well,
few
it's
more of those.
7:31, so the show is starting.
The show is started.
So let's
Some would
head
say the
down.
show is ending, but here's Joey. Joey's checked out. And massive
Yeah,
shout out to the
emotionally.
team at Rechabite for allowing us to use the rooftop space and reserve it up. We've had a fair few legends who have peeled up via the stairs or via the lift, seen it's us, and immediately turned around and gone straight back downstairs.
Good
so
goal.
that,
Great goal.
That's fantastic. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure to do this until we do this at this time next week.
We're doing this again this
We're
next
doing
week.
it Tuesday. No, not this. Big news. We do have Sam Kennelly joining us. He's a player from the
shit.
Perth Heat.
Ooh.
So the stars don't necessarily stop this time next week. We've got Sam joining us on the MacPack podcast.
Baseball elite.
We chat about comedy this week. We're going to chat about sport next week. It's a massive episode next week. I hope to see you there.
MacPack making
Let's
moves.
fucking go. Oh, wait, do the fucking...
Say the
Oh,
line.
say the line until we do this time next week. Stay safe. Stay Western Noise Room 2.
Go give your mama a hug.
It's chuffing out. Button up forever.